Stay tantalized.
Stay tantalized, Roddy.
Tantalized.
Stay tantalizing. Stay tantalizing.
Stay tantalized.
Stay tantalizing.
Stay tantalized.
Stay tantalizing.
Stay tantalizing.
Stay tantalized.
Tantalizing.
The Tantalizing Wrestling Federation. What the world is watching.
What's up, everybody? It's me, your boy, the YouTube champion, Tantalizing Tony, and the producer, Kira. Nobody can hear you. You wave, they don't.
I didn't say anything.
Yeah, that's the thing. But see, this is going in podcast form, so when you wave, they can't hear you. See?
Okay, hello everyone.
Wow, guys. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good night. Wonder if I'm too loud. Who knows? Hey, Dahlia.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so we're not supposed to acknowledge you guys in the chat. Sorry. This is a podcast form. We're going to put this in the podcast. So if we don't get to your chats, guys, don't take it personal. But if you send a super chat, you're guaranteed to get your comment put up. All right. So you guys can talk amongst yourselves. We will be looking in your chat. We will not say good evening today. We're not doing roll call because we're not doing roll call. You guys, it's about time you got to start realizing how this works. Okay. Realize that this channel here is going to start following the rules of engagement. Okay. I was watching the great JD from New York. Now, you might not like JD. You might love him. You might hate him. But I'll tell you one thing about this guy, JD. He knows how to run a channel. He logs on and the super chats are lined up. $100, $80, $27. The guy made $14,000 in one day. Okay. I saw him. I seen it. Anyway. So guys, if you're on YouTube, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when we're going live or doing a video like this. And if you listen to some podcast form, hi, this is Tantalizing Tag Team, the producer Kira.
Yes.
Tantalizing Tony, we're here. So if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening, subscribe to Tantalizing Tony Wrestling Show on YouTube. Have I covered it all?
I believe you have.
There it is. So I was driving home about 5 o'clock and I told Kira, I have an idea. Let's do a show on the Judgment Day. And of course, she was like, let's do it. The Judgment Day, guys, I know I give her a hard time, but let's be honest. The bloodline is in disarray. I don't even know what the rest of these factions are doing. The OC, are they even the faction still?
Yeah, they got drafted together.
Yeah, okay. The OC, the original club. But the Judgment Day, guys, there's stuff going on in the Judgment Day, and I've really been trying to dissect what's happening. Let's start at the beginning, okay? This started with Edge, okay?
It did.
Edge started the Judgment Day. His first recruit, Rhea Ripley, correct?
I thought it was Priest.
Maybe it might have
It was
been
Priest.
Then Rhea Ripley.
Yes.
Okay, the two main people in Judgment Day now are Priest and Ripley. Edge didn't like the way it was going. They wanted to make it more spooky because of Vince McMahon, that guy that's no longer we're supposed to name. But basically they wanted to make it like an occult kind of thing. And Edge wasn't with that. He took his ball and went home, and now he's in another company. They then brought in Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio, and JD McDonough. And this faction, believe it or not, these band of misfits found a way to make it work. Dominic Mysterio, former NXT North American champion. Priest and Finn Balor, former undisputed tag team champions. Right now, Damian Priest is the current world champion. And if Rhea Ripley hadn't got hurt, she would still be women's world champion. But because of injury, shoulder issues, she had to vacate that title.
She's still the champion.
Okay, but that's not the story right now. So I was actually thinking about this for the last couple of days, and I asked myself, like, why would they mess with a faction that's this solid? The Bloodline, they were breaking up before they got together. The Bloodline started on shaky ground. Roman came back. He used to disrespect Jey Uso, just disrespect Jimmy. They brought Solo in. They brought him in as an enforcer. He beat up his own brothers. The whole thing's dysfunctional. They brought in Sami Zayn. What's he doing there? The whole bloodline's been dysfunctional from day one. But the Judgment Day always seemed to be on the same page, even though they had their differences. They brought R-Truth in for a little while, make a little money for them. And even when they did that, they still were on solid ground. But now it seems like there's a conspiracy. I honestly believe that the powers that be are trying their best to break this faction up. Kira, what do you think about that?
I love the Judgment Day. And me personally, I'm going to keep it in my mind that they're never breaking up. They're family and they're always going to be family. But there have been some odd moments and situations that have occurred lately. I feel like ever since JD has joined, things have been rocky. Because even before JD joined, they were having arguments about if he should join or not. And then he basically proved himself. And Rhea Ripley, I feel like, was the final decision because everyone else I feel like was good on JD. Even Damien, he was like, oh wait, no, Damien was the one that didn't want JD. Damien and Rhea, but they all came to terms and they invited him into the Judgment Day. Okay, wonderful. Then we have R-Truth mixing his nose into the business, and that caused some kerfuffles because Damien and Dom, they were having fun with R-Truth. Finn was having fun too. I don't know. Finn is indecisive. But JD was causing problems with R-Truth. Like, why couldn't they just let him have their fun time? So that was another problem that happened. And then there was some arguments, some little petty stuff going on. And now Mommy Rhea is hurt. Dirty Dom is hurt. Dirty Dom is mixed up with Liv Morgan. Damian Priest is yelling at everybody. JD can't win a match. So I feel like all this stuff happening, but obviously people are going to think that they're breaking up because they've lost their flow. But me personally, I believe this is just part of a master plan. This is a minor setback for a major comeback. And I know I've said that 100 times, but if that's what it takes to convince you people that they're not breaking up my Judgment Day, then I'm going to keep saying it.
But this is where you're losing sight of things, okay? And everything you're saying is correct, but this is where I think the conspiracy comes in because let's start here. Let's start with JD McDonough, okay? JD McDonough doesn't even look like a Judgment Day member, but he's found a way to fit in due to his connection with Finn Balor. But do you notice that when they always set these matches up, that the WWE always puts JD in a no-win situation?
Yeah, like he has a match coming up with Braun Strowman. There's no way he's winning that one.
They never put him in somebody in the ring with he's equal to. It's always somebody who they know JD can beat.
Because everybody is against Judgment Day and they're threatened.
That's where the conspiracy comes in. I think that Adam Pearce has it in for these guys. I'll tell you why. Listen to this. Okay. The JD thing alone is one, you could look at that, the writings on the wall at JD. But listen to this. Liv Morgan miraculously comes back out of nowhere after being out for 8 months. And the first thing she does is she hurts Rhea Ripley. Now, they know that Rhea Ripley had a knockdown dragout at WrestleMania the night before. And here she comes the next night on Raw, attacking her. Rhea Ripley had no time to even breathe. Not just to mention that. How do you put the undisputed 2-time tag team champions in a ladder match where both sets of titles are up on a rung, not against one team, not two, not three, not four? Was it 4 teams or was it 5?
There were 6 teams total.
So it's over 5 other teams. They only had a 1 in 6 chance. That's like 20%. No, it's like 18.8% chance to win. We have new tag team champions. One of them is SmackDown, 8-time Down Under. And then we have Awesome Truth, who basically They ganged up on the Judgment Day to keep the titles. I would be surprised. Excuse me. I wouldn't be surprised if all these teams were in the back say, listen, guys, our main goal is to make sure these guys leave with no titles. It doesn't matter which one of us wins. One team might win them both, or maybe we'll split them and you win one and we won. But whatever the case is, let's make sure the Judgment Day doesn't get the titles. And that's exactly what they did. Think about that. Think about how the odds are stacked against the tag team champions with two sets of titles on two different rungs on two different sets of ladders. You know what I mean?
I do indeed.
So there's another conspiracy. You want to hear the biggest conspiracy of all? When you have such a close bond such as Dominic, Dirty Dom, and Mommy have, and then Mommy gets taken off of TV because of the injury, and then all of a sudden, Liv's character has changed. She's wearing the hot leather pants. Her makeup's different. It's like, you know what it's like? Here's an analogy. It's like the forbidden fruit.
Who's the fruit?
Well, the fruit is Liv Morgan, and the Garden of Eden is the WWE. And Adam, I don't mean Copeland, is Dominic Mysterio. That harlot, yeah, I said it. That harlot Liv Morgan is tempting Dominic because Rhea's away. And they say it, when the cat's away, the mouse will play.
So did you see? So there was a little tidbit. So we all know that Rey Mysterio first called out the fact that Dominic had like lipstick or something on his lips. Right?
What?
Yeah, that was the first clue. Okay.
Oh.
The second clue was Liv Morgan and Dominic leaving the same room backstage in Jey Uso's promo. And then the third clue, I'm pretty sure was yesterday, but Liv Morgan posted a photo on Instagram and everybody zoomed in, and in her pocket was Dom's purple bandana. So in the beginning of the show, Dominic had a bandana around his neck, and then when he came out later, or I don't know when, he didn't have the bandana. It's in Liv's pocket. I don't know what the heck these people are doing. I'm still on the ride, the train with the fact that Rhea is telling Dom what to do, but Dom doesn't really want to do it because he's loyal to Mommy, but he's got to do what he's got to do. But seeing the little Easter eggs is just, it's hard to watch.
And here's where the conspiracy comes into play. Have you noticed that for some reason, no matter what company you belong to, the powers that be always try to break up the factions? NWO, DX.
Because with all of these members of Judgment Day in a faction together, you have the greatest wrestler performer ever. You have, with all 5 of these members of Judgment Day, you have a great wrestler in them. You have a great promo talker in them. You have style. You have interaction with the fans. You have personality.
And then you got a lackey, because everybody needs a lackey. Because even, listen, to be honest, even the NWO, they had Vincent.
Hey, we always need comedic relief.
There
I feel like JD is.
Well, he's the one to get. He's the one to take the hit, paying his dues, so to speak.
I guess.
But my point is that every time there's a successful faction in wrestling, the powers that be always find a way to break it up. Oh, this is getting stale. DX is a perfect example. DX with Shawn Michaels and Triple H. Triple H said, "The heck with this. I want to take control." Know why? Because Vince was in his ear. Stephanie whispered in his ear, take over DX. What happens? Then they got Road Dogg Jesse James, Badass Billy Gunn, X-Pac. You know what I mean?
I do.
NWO. It was Nash, Hall, and Hogan. Then they start adding members little by little. And what happens? They separate. Then they got the Wolfpack NWO, and they got Black and White NWO. Look at the Bullet Club. They were solid in New Japan. Always got to bring somebody in. Kenny Omega wants this guy out. Finn Balor wants this guy out. It's always the head honchos that don't want these factions to stay in power, because if they did, they would take over all the wrestling. They have a lock on everything. You noticed? Think about it. Adam Pearce fears Judgment Day. You know why? They had every title. They had everything.
Mm-hmm.
Dominic went down to NXT and took one of their titles and took it off of NXT television, held it hostage on Raw.
Yeah.
The tag team championship was on lock for months. They beat Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, who had beat the Bloodline. They feared Judgment Day. And what about this? Why do they have a guy like Finn Balor in a faction like this, right? And another strong personality, Damian Priest. He's a world champion.
Mm-hmm.
That would create dissension. How come they haven't given Finn Balor any kind of IC title opportunities? How come he hasn't had an NXT title match? Why are they're planting the seeds for destruction? And this Liv Morgan thing, if you guys don't think this is calculated, you see how she came out dressed like a total floozy?
All I have to say is that Judgment Day has been thrown everything that you could imagine. Okay. They've got their titles taken away from them. They've got unfair matches given to them. And they're still together. Okay. That's all that really matters. That they're still together. They might argue. Family, that Damian says it all the time. Families argue.
Oh, don't I know it?
But they're still together. And when mommy comes back, they're still going to be together when mommy comes back. And then when she comes back, they're going to be greater than ever because they're going to take all the titles. Damon is going to have his world title. Rhea's going to have her world title. Dom and JD are going to have the tag team titles. And Finn Balor is either going to have the IC or the US. And I want him to have the IC because it looks better with the group. But that's besides the point. They're going to have all the titles, and they're going to once again run all of WWE like they did a few months ago before you guys tried to take them down and throw everything you could at them, except for the kitchen sink, obviously.
Calm down there. Calm down there. My goodness. You think you a member of the Judgment Day yourself?
I am.
Sucks to sucks.
Called honor.
Sucks
No.
Sucks to sucks, huh? Yeah.
No, it sucks to suck to you, fam.
She said that one time. Leave me alone.
And you're getting a shirt. Cry about it. That's what Liv says.
Yeah. Well, the only one crying right now is you, but I will agree with you that there is something going on here. There is a conspiracy happening. And I think that maybe you should get to the bottom of what's going on here.
I'm doing my detective work. I'm researching. I'm keeping tabs on everybody because this is emotionally taxing. Like, they've put me through the ringer and I'm trying to figure it out. I don't know what their plan is exactly, but at the end of the day, Judgment Day, they're going to be the ones on top for sure.
Okay. So listen, if you're watching on YouTube, hello everybody. If you're listening on a podcast form, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, where we get the podcast, my name is Tantalizing Tony. This is the producer, Kira. This is our Tantalizing Tag Team podcast form. Usually we just do like watch-alongs, but we wanted to talk about this because this is very important to us, well, especially Kira, because Judgment Day is her team, and I think she feels that, there's some shenanigans.
They're being robbed.
They are being robbed. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can see the faction right there. You can see the Judgment Day, how they're looking in their glory. Kira, you're not a historian, a wrestling historian such as me.
Okay.
But the reason why I'm telling you I know something's going on is I've seen this exact same thing happening with this faction. I've seen this happen with D-Generation X, where they had a great leader, Shawn Michaels, and then someone put a bug in Triple H's ear. Next thing you know, everything's down the tubes. It happened in NWO. It happened with the Horsemen. It happened with the Bullet Club. I think that Nick Aldis also has something to do too. I think Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce have some major plans, because I believe this is what I also believe too. You got to realize that Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis all come from different companies: TNA, NWA, and they've had their run-ins with the Bullet Club. Do you notice that there's so many Bullet Club members in WWE now? Finn Balor, Cody Rhodes, Gorillas of Destiny, AJ Styles, the OC. You notice that?
I do.
Yeah, the Bullet Club. I think that what's happening here is that they want to take advantage of this Bullet Club hoorah, this Bullet Club aura. And I think they want to separate the Judgment Day because they want the Bullet Club to be their main faction. I'm just telling you, I think this bloodline thing is all a smokescreen to get the Bullet Club members in here. Hikaleo's going to come. Who knows who's going to show up? Is Jacob Fatu coming? Who knows what's happening?
I would actually love to see Bloodline have a little storyline with Judgment Day. I always tell them not to get involved with Judgment Day because, not to get involved with the Bloodline because the Bloodline is just so stressful and all over the place. But I feel like that'd be really good TV. Judgment Day versus Bloodline
That could be
storyline.
I think it'll be good. But you know what else? I'm just thinking as I'm looking at the chat here. Kira, do you realize this too? Is that maybe the reason why they're trying to break up the Judgment Day is because they're afraid that their legacy will go down as the greatest faction in history.
Oh, it's already done that, Pipes.
Let me ask you a question. Ready for this? Who's in charge of WWE Creative?
Trips?
Triple H. What faction did Triple H lead?
DX?
And Evolution.
Evolution with Randy Orton.
Evolution, Randy Orton, Ric Flair, and Batista.
Mm-hmm.
So he's the leader of two major factions, and he's in charge of creative. Do you see what I'm talking about now? Who's the one making the matches? Why would they bring JD in? Listen, let's be honest. JD's the weak link of Judgment Day. You admit that. Why they bring a guy in from NXT who never won a title in his life and put them with these superstars? Everybody in this organization has proven itself. Ready for this? Dominic, former tag team champion with his father. True story. Rhea Ripley, multiple-time world champion. Finn Balor, first ever Universal champion and former NXT champion. Damian Priest, former NXT North American champion and former United States champion. Only person not to hold a title in that faction is JD McDonough, formerly known as Jordan Devlin. Triple H, in charge of creative, brings up JD McDonough. Who's in charge of NXT? Shawn Michaels, his DX partner. Those two are in cahoots against the Judgment Day. Think about it. Really think about it.
Okay.
Yeah. You see? Nick Aldis,
Adam Pearce,
Shawn Michaels, and Triple H. They probably want to start their own faction as four old retired guys. They can't get the job done anymore.
They're so jealous because Judgment Day has... At one point, Judgment Day was taking over all three brands. SmackDown, Raw, and NXT at the same time.
And guys, if you're watching on YouTube, hit the like, share, subscribe, notification bell. And if you're listening on podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, give us a like, give us a 5-star rating. Also, come over to YouTube sometime and check out the 10 Lives and Totally Wrestling Show exclusively on YouTube with me and the producer, Kira. Keep it going, Kira. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Judgment Day is awesome.
Judgment Day. Listen, so Kira, let me ask you a question. I really, I give you a hard time as does other people, such as Sam Gonzalez.
Unreal.
What do you, in case he's listening, Sam Gonzalez is a great friend of mine, my brother. He follows our channel. He's a good man. You like him as well, of course, right?
Not anymore.
Wow, not anymore. What do you think? Well, Sam Gonzalez is very critical of your Judgment Day. What do you have to say to him about this?
He is very critical of my Judgment Day, and it's sad, honestly. If you watch the product as like I watch the product and you really dissect everything, I don't think that he'll be saying the things that he's saying unless he's being a troll and he actually agrees with me, but he just wants to be the silly goose. Then that I guess at least you admit that they're good, but if you genuinely believe that the Judgment Day is not one of the greatest factions of all time, I think they're the greatest faction of all time, but I can see how you could say one of, then you're insane. Overrated is insane. Are you kidding me? He just named all of the accolades that Judgment Day holds together.
In case you don't, the reason why she said overrated, guys, if you're listening on the podcast, Sam Gonzalez in the chat said they're overrated, and then Kira has acknowledged that chat that he said overrated. So
that was very explanatory.
So listen, let me ask you this though. But what do you think about my whole hypothesis on Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Adam Pearce, and Nick Aldis? What do you think? Nick Aldis, former NWA champion as well.
I do believe that everyone is against the Judgment Day. I'm gonna have to sit with your theory and think about it and like research and rewatch to see the pieces come together with your theory. But I wouldn't put it past them. Everyone is jealous of them. Everyone's intimidated by them, and I can see why they're the greatest. They're top stars. When you put top stars together, come on now.
Look, Kira doesn't have the wrestling acumen that I have.
History knowledge.
But I will say this about the Judgment Day. They're up there in aspects of factions of what they can do. And what they can do, what they do now, what they can do in the future. When Rhea really gets back, there's gonna be HE double hockey sticks to pay.
Oh yeah.
And listen, if you're watching if you're listening on Apple Podcast or Spotify or wherever you got your podcast, we just got a YouTube super chat from Will Chisholm. Will Chisholm says, the way Jay White's being booked, maybe he should have went to WWE with the Outlet OG Bullet Club members. Hey, Will, you could be right about that. And thanks for the super chat. And every time we get a super chat, we get the boy, my little boy, Magnificent Mikey, that tells you this.
What's up, everybody? It's me, your boy, Magnificent Mikey, and thanks for the super chat, baby. Ding, ding.
Ding, ding. Thanks for the super chat, Will. We appreciate that. Every time we get a super chat, it goes to help out the channel. If you guys know, Kira and I are going to SummerSlam. I was going to do Money in the Bank alone, but I'm going to get Kira a passport next week. And yes, Kira, I can't not go to. You have to go overseas. We have to go overseas. We have to do it, even though it's in Canada. We have to do it. So any super chat you give us goes to the cause to get us to Money in the Bank. So send those super chats. Thank you. So a lot of people in the chat who I don't want to acknowledge because they, I just don't want to, because they didn't pay. And like I said, guys, we're gonna get to the point where if you want your comment read, the super chat's gonna start coming in. I'm not trying to be a cash grabbing money person, but let's keep this 100. If you look at all these other podcasters who are killing the game, they're not putting up chats. They're making you pay. So if you want to get your chat up, I'm not saying it'll be on a regular basis. What I'm saying is start digging in those pockets because you got a few extra bucks. Help out the channel, okay? We need the help. This channel don't run itself and it's not free. So yeah, as you can look in the chat. And listen, I will say this. Kira does not have the lineage that I have to know what a faction is made of and what's a great faction. But you have to realize something. In her timeline, if you're doing a Marvel timeline and this is her WWE timeline, they've been the most consistent faction, even more than the Bloodline. The Bloodline might be a little more successful and a little more high profile, but who's the tighter unit? These guys aren't even related in any way. These guys have no blood relation to each other. The Bloodline does, and they're killing each other. Jimmy's fighting Jay. Roman's choking this one out. Solo's beating up his brothers. They're related. This family has no blood relation. So who really is the tighter faction?
They got to choose their family, and that I feel like the Bloodline. They have to they have to love each other because they're blood.
You know what? It's like this family. I'll give you a perfect example. Ready?
Yeah.
Is this?
100%.
I have people in my circle who I've met over the course of my life that consider my family. Right?
Mhm.
I'll give a couple names.
Oh gosh.
Paul Laurier, my
Mhm.
brother.
Uncle Paul.
Uncle Paul. Sam Gonzalez, my brother.
Mm-hmm.
Triple R, Rappers Ricky Ramone, my brother.
Mm-hmm.
ABJ, my brother. Graves, my brother.
Mm-hmm.
Nelly Nell, my brother.
Mm-hmm.
Those are people. This is something. G, you know,
Yeah.
Pat.
None of these people know who you're
They
talking about.
doesn't matter. My point is that these are people that came into my circle over the course of my life that I consider family. Right?
Mhm. And then your real family.
I don't want to talk to any of them. Okay,
Barf.
I'll say it just like this. There's some that are 45 feet away from me in the room across the hall. That if the roof caved in, I'd be like,
That was a shoulder shrug for those listeners, those listening.
yeah. If you listen on a podcast, we did a shoulder shrug, so we'll do it again for you guys.
Visualize it.
So there it is. So yeah, so I get what you're saying there when it comes to aspects of these guys. And let me ask you this question: do you think Edge is regretting his decision to leave WWE?
100%. Honestly, no, because
100%. Honestly, no. Okay.
because I was thinking in aspects of like how successful Judgment Day has gotten after Edge's departure, but Edge wouldn't fit in this new iteration of the Judgment Day, if that makes any sense. Like, I feel like it'd be one too many people. He's a little, I mean, it could be like a wise man kind of deal. Like, he has all of the answers because he's been around longer than they all have been. But I just feel like the
dynamic of the Judgment doesn't fit Edge's persona.
Yeah, thank you.
Edge is more of a loner anyway, I
Yeah.
believe. I get what you're saying. Because I think when it started, they wanted like the Brood 2.0. They wanted, Edge, Gangrel, and Christian. They wanted that kind of order. And this whole thing changed once Rhea joined the group, changed everything. So I get what you're saying. Not to mention, you know what else I can say about your faction? There's no women in the bloodline. And there's actually women in the family. They never brought Tamina in.
Exactly.
They never brought Nia Jax in.
Exactly.
So they're misogynists.
I don't know about that.
I say it.
But yeah, and Judgment Day is more of like a group effort, whereas when Edge was there,
diverse backgrounds. How about this? Damian Priest from the BX baby from the Bronx, Boricua.
Puerto Rico.
What about Rhea Ripley from Australia?
Adelaide, South Australia.
What about Finn Balor from Ireland?
Ireland.
What about Dominic Mysterio, San Diego, California, from ways of Mexico?
Mexico.
So right there, diversity. So right there, they might be the most diverse faction.
I'll give it to him.
There it is.
There it is.
There it is. There it is. Anyway, guys, here's the thing. You need to do your own investigation about this, but if you look into what I'm saying, there is a conspiracy against the Judgment Day. I think I cracked the code. I think Shawn Michaels and Triple H, those DX wannabes, I think those two are your culprits. They got their little minions, Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce, as their lackeys, and they're putting the kibosh on the Judgment Day. I believe this, though. I believe that Rhea Ripley has a plan. I believe that they already have talked about this, that they have made it to a point. Hey, guys, listen, we want to give the impression that we're going to break up. We'll do something. Like, why would he grab Finn Balor's face like that on live television at Backlash? And unless it was to put the seeds of doubt in people's mind.
They're going to come back so strong.
You know what? I'm starting to believe it.
Let me tell you, it's going to be greatness. I don't know when, but they're going to come back. When Rhea comes back, she's the final piece of the puzzle. Like, you can't come back without all members of the Judgment Day. So we got to make sure everyone is back healthy and happy and all that good stuff and situated. And then their plan will
come to fruition. Yes. And I do see Dom and JD as your tag team champions. I do see Finn as the IC champion. I believe that Damian Priest will hold on to that world title, and Mommy will decimate that piece of trash harlot, not nice person, Liv Morgan, and they will all reign supreme, raise their titles in the air, and show why they're the most dominant faction of all the WWE. All rise for the Judgment Day. We're standing.
There it is. I want Liv to beat Becky.
There it is.
so that Rhea can beat Liv and put her in her place.
Put her in her place. If you like this, guys, hit the thumbs up. If you didn't, hit the bricks. We don't need you.
What was it?
Hit-
Hit the crap,
hit
hey?
See? That's right, see?
What did they say?
Let me tell you something, see? Come on. You want a piece of me, see? Yeah. Guys, it's 8 o'clock almost on Tuesday night, so NXT's going to come on. You guys can watch that. Have fun. If you're on YouTube, which you are, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share the channel, you losers. Share the channel. I'm tired of you guys not doing your job. Okay, one person came in and showed some love and gave us a super chat. That's Will Chisholm. Will Chisholm is our super chat superstar of the day. Thank you for that, Will. We appreciate you so much. You're a super chat superstar. There it is right there. Right now, if you're listening on the podcast form, we have a graphic where it says super chat superstar. Thank you. He gets confetti as well. Everybody else, you're cheap and beat it. Kira,
Yeah.
tell them where they can find us.
Everywhere at Tantalize and Tony, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch,
Cameo.
X, Cameo.
Listen, people, I know you are broke, but here's the thing, everybody. Tantalize and Tony is a hot commodity. Shout out to Robert Franklin. You guys should get your cameos in now while you still can afford me. Because when I get big enough to the point where I'm making the big bucks, your tax bracket's not going to be able to afford a promo from the greatest promo person on the history of God's green earth, Tantalize and Tony. I stake my claim on this. Anybody walking this earth that wants a promo battle with me, come see me, okay? I'll beat you like you stole something. All right, guys, thanks for listening. That's it, Kira, right?
That's all.
Give us the spiel. Just get us out of here.
Thank you guys for coming into the show today. Thank you guys for
Conspiracy.
listening to the show. If you guys are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, give us a review.
Wait a minute.
5
Sorry about the 5-star.
stars.
Something just hit me. Speaking of conspiracies, you know why I'm so good at these conspiracy theory things? Because it's a conspiracy against Tantalize and Tony. All those wrestling podcasters out there and YouTubers, they see me at these events. They've got the worst title belt you've ever seen. Pieces of crap. They've got WWE titles that they put tape over and plastic over and paper mache over and Elmer's glue. They're like little 5th graders. My son Michael, who's in 1st grade, makes a better title than you guys do. You guys wish you had a title like the YouTube Championship. If you're on Spotify, you can't see this, but we're pointing to the YouTube Championship made by Mr. Ruda himself. Okay? So I know about conspiracies. And mark my words, you haters, you're going to regret not giving me my shot. You know what haters stand for?
What?
I don't know.
Okay.
But I'll tell you next time. Guys, hug your family members because I promise tomorrow. You got to pray, guys. If you don't pray, you won't make it today. And as always, for the producer, Kira, for me, your boy, the one, the only undisputed YouTube champ, Tantalize and Tony, do what I do best, and that's wait for it. Stay tantalizing. Yeah.